Okay, I can bring you up to speed on camper stuff. I got the battery out, took it in the garage, threw it on a trickle charger. Multimeter says it's fully charged, but the little red light on the trickle charger is still red, so I'll leave it on there. It ain't gonna hurt it. And I made some sense out of the wiring in this what appeared to be a rat's nest. It's not really as bad as it looked before. And you basically got the two sides of the power cable, and one side of it goes up through that. That's just a bus bar, I guess. I don't see anything with a fuse on it. This is a fuse here, and there's a whole bunch of this stuff, but this plugs in. It's a telephone jack, plugs into the side of this, and then I found a part number on that, so I went and looked it up. This is a controller for the electric jacks outside, so this wire comes out here and runs out through that. So I think since there's 4 wires in that runs to all the 4 corners, and that's what supplies power up to this, because there's a left, right, left front, left rear, left, there's a set of terminals for each set of the jacks. So this just needs to get stuffed off down in the corner behind the battery box. And all this other stuff, a couple of wire ties, and it will be cleaned up, and I can put the battery box back in here, and there are grooves in the side of it for the wires to come out. So once I get that in there, then I'll put the strap in behind it that goes around it and holds everything together. And by the time I get all the wires back out of the way, they're dressed up in the back, the battery box back in, I'll be able to secure it with that. And that'll take care of the battery box. That's not going to be as big a chore as I thought. And like these wires, these are 4 sets of wires that come off of this thing. They have to go to the individual jacks for power, ground and hot wire and ground wire. When I said this probably goes out through this hole here and back into the back of this, because this is the actual where the remotes plug into. I did find out from the thing that if I want to take that apart, that thing here, there's dip switches on the top, so you can actually unplug this and actually use them as remote controls, but I'm not going to do that. Anyways, that's just a question of some zip ties and putting everything back in it, and it'll be ready to go, and it'll be cleaned up and installed the way it should have been to start with. Now, the next thing, and I just got started on this, is the power vent fan. And the big issue was going to be where to get power from. And you see, I've already taken the trim. I'm running out of room here. Here's the TPO roof, and you can see the actual framing in this thing. It's a 14-inch square, so it's not going to be that big a deal. But my original thought was the power thing for the power cord for the fan. Last time I put one in, it came out right here, so I was going to just run it over here, come down over here, and come down the side, and then there's plenty of this. There actually is space behind that, and maybe put like a 12-volt fuse box. They got a little plastic track that I could hide the wire behind, and it would have looked all right. But then I thought, my original thought was to see if the puck lighting had big enough gauge wire to run the fan. And ta-da, it does. I can see what size gauge wire this is. I can't read it. But anyways, that's twice the gauge of wire I had in the one in the fan, and it looks like all these lights are just running series, because it comes in and goes back out and comes in and goes back out. So I'll be wiring, getting power off this. These puck lights are really, actually I had to take a saw and make this hole a little bit bigger just to get the wire connectors out. So they made the hole big enough to fish the wires through, connected it, and then stuffed it back up in the hole, and he couldn't get the things out. These are those crimp kind. I don't know if I'll replace those or probably will. I'm going to go buy some of those. They're not expensive. But the light itself, which is just LEDs, it just screwed into this stuff, which is it's like particle. No, it's not particle board. It's like 1/8 inch. I don't know what you call it, but anyways, and then the cover here, this kind of clips on the outside of this thing. I tried twisting it and turning it, and finally got a dash trim tool and pried it down a little bit. So there's plenty of space right here to run a wire over to this hole. I can actually run it from here back, fish it out, and then I'll put the connectors on it for the fan, tie it into this, put the light back up, and I'll have power to the fan. And as far as this goes, the hard part is going to be getting it off the roof without screwing up this membrane, and then I can install the new fan, because it just gets what is it, butyl tape around the edges screwed in. It'll fit right in here. This is 14 by 14, and I can sit down and give you a better shot of this thing. 14 by 14 standard RV opening, but getting the old stuff off so the new one will sit down on it may take a little doing. Plus, I don't know that I want to actually climb up on the roof of this thing. I may do it standing on a ladder back here in the back. So I'll see how hard it is. So that's going to make installing that fan. I ain't going to do it today because we just had a bunch of thunderstorms come through, and it is humid out here. I've got sweat running down my face, and I've only been out here about 20-30 minutes. So anyways, at least that answers the question of where the power comes from, and those wires are big enough. I don't think all of these LED lights, there's 1, 2, 3 of them in here. If they're all hooked in to that one set of wires, they're not, if I had them all turned on, they're not going to draw enough power to affect the fan. That wire is plenty big enough. The only thing would be where down there in the converter, they're wired in what big a fuse, but those LED lights, they're not gonna take anything, and I need a magnifying glass to read that. I can't read, but there's the fuses, the 12-volt fuses. That's where they'll come from. So I'll find out what size fuse it is. And I'm not gonna have all 3 of these lights on at any one time, anyways. One of these lights up the inside, so that'll take care of that. It'll run that vent fan fine. I'll take you inside and show you the fan I got. It's just a plain Jane manually operated Maxxair fan. I'll be back in a minute when I get inside. Okay, I'm not going to take this out of the box, but it's basically your basic Maxxair fan with the smoked lid. You can run it while it's raining because the lid keeps the rain out. And if you really wanted to, you could get one of them big hoods that fits over the top of it, but I'm not going to mess with that. So anyways, let's see if I give you, that's the cheap one. It's like $130, brand new off Amazon. Smoke lid. Let's see if it has a model number on it. There you go, there's a picture of it. I really liked it. 900 cubic feet per minute. I don't think there's 900 cubic feet of air in there. There's the one manual opening. I mean, I didn't see the point in having a remote control when I'm never more than 3 feet from it. Okay, that's up to date. The only thing you need to install this is some butyl tape, and I got a whole big roll of that, and a tube of Dicor self-leveling sealant, and I got one of that. So got that with a Good Sam $10 coupon. Only cost me about less than $3. So by tomorrow sometime I should probably have this thing installed. And when I say it's hot and muggy, I got sweat dripping into my nose. Y'all have a good day. I think today's the last day of heavy rain. So I literally am soaking wet after 30 minutes out there. I had to go take a shower and change clothes. Okay, have a good day. Bye.